A San Diego migrant shelter shutting its doors after receiving no migrants since President Trump's inauguration. National Border Patrol Council President Paul Perez will be here on that in just moments. But first, let's get the news from Bill Malugin. He is live out of Los Angeles for us. So, Bill, how many migrants had come to this NGO recently?
Sandra, believe it or not, literally zero. This NGO says not a single migrant has come to their shelter since President Trump took office. That shelter is now closing down and laying off 115 employees, and Trump has officially cut off their FEMA funding. Jewish Family Service San Diego has been running a rapid response migrant shelter that offered migrants things like care packages, food, legal services, travel coordination, medical screenings, immigration case management, you name it, they offered it. FEMA records show they had been allocated $22 million last year, but the NGO says they've never received any of that money. Jewish Family Service San Diego points the finger at President Trump, saying in part, quote, with migrants no longer able to use the CBP-1 application, the shelter has not received new families and individuals released from short-term federal custody. Due to recent changes in federal funding and policy, the shelter services will be paused until there's a better understanding of future community needs. Now, the Trump White House is reacting, telling Fox News, quote, promises made, promises kept. President Donald Trump ended the app that facilitated the movement of illegal immigrants into our country. Let's hope these empty shelters are now used to take care of Americans in need. One San Diego County supervisor says the Biden administration released over 150,000 illegal aliens onto San Diego County streets just last year alone. That's Republican Jim Desmond, and he tells Fox he's happy to see the border now effectively closed with no more migrants going to that shelter.
I'm glad that this problem no longer exists. I'm glad that moving forward, this is not going to be a drain on the federal government, and maybe the federal government can start giving back to Americans as opposed to people who came across illegally.
And Supervisor Desmond tells us the number of smuggling boats landing on San Diego County shores has also plummeted since Trump took office, as the Coast Guard is now much more proactive in the area. Sandra?
Bill Malugin on that for us. Bill, thank you.
So you mentioned Tom Homan. Going to bring him on in a moment here, Dana. We want to look at some numbers now. It's the mid-February, but if you look at January 20th, inauguration day, to February 8th, it's a 19-day period. You take that and compare to a year ago. Here's what we found. Interior ICE arrests inside the country last year in 2024, just shy of 5,000. You're well over that, double at 11,791 so far in 2025. Arrests of migrants with criminal histories. Here we go. A year ago, 4,500. You've nearly doubled that already, just shy of 9,000 in 2025. Arrests of suspected gang members. A year ago is about 200. Right now at 430 and standing as we speak today. Tom Homan is the border czar, and Tom, good morning to you. When do you run out of criminal illegal targets?
Well, look, we got, last count, we got almost 600,000 illegal aliens in the United States with a criminal conviction. So I won't be happy till we eradicate every one of those. And as far as TDA, we got a few more hundred TDA to look for, and we're looking for them now. They're our priority. Public safety threats remain a priority. So I'll be happy once we eradicate them from the United States, and we got a bigger population to go look for. But right now we're concentrating on public safety threats, which is the right thing to do.
Okay, let me rattle through a number of things here and try and get as quick answers as I could, because I got a lot to go through. Axios, Trump's immigration arrests appear to lag Biden's. One possible reason Trump's arrest rate isn't matching Biden's, the publicity surrounding the new president's tough talk on immigration has fueled a dramatic dip in the number of people trying to enter the U.S. illegally on the southern border. I don't know if that's true or not based on the numbers we just showed. How would you respond?
Well, they're adding the Border Patrol arrests to the ICE arrests, which we're not doing. We're just talking about interior arrests, and we're blowing them out of the water. We more than doubled them. And the reason the border arrests are done, because we secured the border. I looked at the numbers today, Bill. 229 total encounters on the southwest border. 229, compared to that 11,000 a day under Biden. I started in Border Patrol in 1984. I've never seen the numbers this high. 229 total encounters in a 24-hour period. That is a record. So that's why there's less total arrests, because the border is more secure than it ever has been.
Okay, here is a complication in Florida. This is a sheriff from St. Johns County. This is how he explains that question about who's a criminal, who's illegal, who matches both. Watch.
We are finding people that are illegally here, most without criminal histories. most without any contacts at all. But that's hard to pinpoint too as well, because we know there's companies out there that produce fake social security numbers, fake driver's license that look legit, that are very, very similar to what our people would be issued in Florida if they're legally here.
You get that, right? I mean, you understand what he's talking about, and it can be confusing. Go ahead.
It makes our job more difficult, makes it less efficient, but we're drilling down on those cases, and they will be apprehended. There are states that are letting illegal aliens change their names, you know, so that they're less able to be apprehended. But we're working through that. We have the greatest technology available, best technology we've ever had in ICE, and we're going to work through those issues. They're not off the table. We will find them, and companies that provide the fraudulent documentation will be held accountable.
San Diego has closed an office that was opened up to receive illegals. What's that tell us?
That tells us the border is more secure than it's ever been. We're going to have additional facilities built to detain for removal, not to hold to release. Detain for removal. That is what the Trump administration is doing. That's what the promise that President Trump made to the American people. We're concentrating on the export program. We're not going to be catch and release is over. So those facilities that were at great taxpayer expense to welcome people, fly them to the city of their choice, give them a free hotel room at taxpayer expense, 3 meals a day, free medical attention. Those days are over. We're going to detain, we end catch and release, and we're going to hold people to remove, not to release.
Lastly, I heard you talking about AOC over the weekend. Do you believe she is breaking the law?
I'll leave that up to DOJ. What I find disturbing is that any member of Congress wants to educate people how to evade law enforcement. You can claim you're educating those constitutional rights. Okay, you can keep that claim. But what she in fact is doing is telling people don't open your door, hide in your home, don't talk to ICE. We're talking about people who are in the country illegally, committed a crime, they're a public safety threat, they've been convicted of serious crime, and they've been ordered removed by a federal judge. So it's like AOC and others don't want ICE to enforce the laws that they enacted. She's a member of Congress. Let us enforce the laws you enacted. That's what we're supposed to do.
You can't go after her. Do you think others should?
No, I think I've asked DOJ, where's that line of impediment, of interference? Now, if someone stands in your way, prevents you from arresting somebody, put your hands on you, that's impediment. But what line is telling people to hide from ICE, not open the door? Where do you cross that line on impediment? So I've simply asked the Department of Justice, give us that line.
You have talked to them about this. That's what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Wow. We'll see where that goes. Tom Homan, I'm out of time. Thank you for yours to be continued. Thank you, sir.
Mark Thiessen, now Fox News contributor, rejoin you, or joins me, however. Look, we saw that in that San Diego, California shelter, where it's dwindled down to not a single person coming to the shelter. I mean, the president is keeping his promise. Talk to me about, though, just the onslaught of push against him.
Well, what's amazing about it is that it just shows what a crisis of choice this was under Joe Biden. I mean, remember when the Democrats told us we can't possibly secure the border unless you pass the bipartisan border bill? Well, they didn't pass the bipartisan border bill. Trump has not gotten a dime more money from Congress. He hasn't gotten a single additional authority from Congress. And the illegal border crossings are down 90% and headed for a 60-year low. All it took was presidential will. And a new border czar, replacing Kamala Harris with Tom Homan, who's a hero because he's actually enforcing the border.
Yeah, I mean, the will to do it, but also the skill to lead through it. I mean, we had former Vice President Kamala Harris in charge of the border by her boss, Joe Biden, and it was lacking there. Some Democrats are working to resist the administration when it comes to illegal immigrant arrests and deportations. I don't know why you want to defend and then resist against criminals getting picked up, but that's what they're doing. Far-left Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez hosted a webinar last week showing illegals how you go around the system. Don't open your doors to the immigration customs enforcement officers. And she had some more advice. Take a look.
When one of these things comes to your backyard, you can resist. And what that happens over millions of people is that you generate enough friction that they cannot go as fast as they want to go. Make sure that you are slowing down this system.
Border Czar Tom Homan said he wants clarity from the Justice Department on whether AOC has crossed the line with that event. She fired back at the comment, and have the post here. Maybe he can learn to read the Constitution would be a good place to start. It's a back and forth, and Tom Homan gets the last word.
What I find disturbing is that any member of Congress wants to educate people how to evade law enforcement. You can claim you're educating those constitutional rights. Okay, you can keep that claim. But what she in fact is doing is telling people don't open your door, hide in your home, don't talk to ICE. We're talking about people who are in the country illegally, committed a crime, they're a public safety threat. AOC and others don't want ICE to enforce the laws that they enacted. She's a member of Congress. Let us enforce the laws you enacted. That's what we're supposed to do.
You know, I'll tell you one thing about this. If you're pressing against this, there has to be time and attention taken away with 74 legal cases against this administration already with the steps that they're making. I mean, America deserves to see what this president would do, but you got to put some attention on some of that pushback. Or do you not?
Yeah, imagine if a member of Congress produced a video on how shoplifters can avoid getting prosecuted or arrested. I mean, it's literally the same thing. And one of the things Tom Homan is very wisely focusing on illegal aliens with criminal records, but every illegal alien in this country is a criminal because crossing the border illegally is a crime. I mean, and AOC, her beef isn't with Tom Homan, it's with Barack Obama. Barack Obama was, when he came into office, he doubled the number of prosecutions for people for crossing the border illegally from 40,000 a year to 100,000 a year. It's something I call people used to call the Sonny Bono doctrine, which Sonny Bono was Cher's ex-husband, who was a member of Congress, was asked, "What's your position on illegal immigration?" And he said, "It's illegal." And
yeah,
it's
well,
funny
Obama has
because
said that too. It's all over YouTube. You can look it up.
Yeah, but
He
it's
has
funny
said that
because
too,
it's so self-evident, but it's not evident to people.
To break into our country. It's so obvious
Yes.
where the crime starts. All right, liberal hysteria over the Department of Government efficiency efforts to cut waste is continuing now. Here's a liberal network host, apoplectic over Elon Musk heading that department, DOGE, as you know the acronym spells. He also had some interesting words for Democrats.
I'd just like you to show that you give a that you got a little emotion about the fact that people are losing their jobs indiscriminately. I'd just like to see somebody wake the up and get excited about the fact that your country is under assault. They're not at the gate anymore. They're in your bedrooms. They're in your living rooms. They're in your businesses. They got your data, dumb. They got all your stuff. Elon Musk has his tentacles in everything you're doing, and nobody seems to give a So that's all I want, somebody to show that they care enough to get off their fat and say something about it.
That is so disrespectful. Like, I can understand why people don't want to watch them. I mean, that's really, really beyond the pale. And not true. He's going to have to show some receipts. Otherwise, those lawsuits can flow both ways. President Trump and Elon Musk sat down with Sean Hannity and touched on the issue.
They want you two to start hating each other, and they try, President Elon Musk, for example. You do know that they're doing that to you.
Oh, I see it all the time. They tried it, then they stopped. That wasn't. They have many different things of hatred. Actually, Elon called me. He said, "You know, they're trying to drive us apart." I said, "Absolutely. They're actually bad at it, because if they were good at it, I'd never be president." Because I think nobody in history has ever gotten more bad publicity than me. I could do the greatest things. I get 98% bad publicity. I could do, outside of you and a few of your very good friends, it's like the craziest thing. But you know what I have learned, Elon? The people are smart. They get it.
Yeah, they do, actually.
They get it. They really see what's happening.
Your reaction?
Well, first of all, the Democrats are in complete disarray because the resistance is dead. I mean, you know, if you compare this from 2016 when they were trying to destroy Donald Trump, now they're just defeated. I mean, they threw everything they had at him. The Mueller probe, 2 impeachments, 91 indictments. There were even 2 assassination attempts, and he survived everything. He's like that Marvel superhero when you have the scene where they're throwing every rocket and every grenade and everything at him and the smoke clears, and he's standing there completely unscathed. And not just unscathed, strengthened. Strengthened. He's in a position. And what are they doing? They're sitting there defending foreign aid. I mean, and illegal immigration, not deporting people with criminal records. Just, you know, 80-20 issues. Be on the right side.
Yeah. Defending foreign aid, especially some of which was going to terrorist organizations. Look, I wrote it down. It's a quote of the day to know about. Dems are angry because the resistance is dead. Mark Thiessen said that. Good to see you. Thank you.